Welcome to the Soul of Innovation podcast. I am Thomas Sanglero, feeling a bit fatigued today, but even in a state of being fatigued, even in a state of where my mind is not 100%, I still understand the importance of showing up. The question is, do you? Do you know how important it is just to show up to any event, any appointment, any promise, or even more importantly, to show up to your idea? Do you know how important it is to show up? So many times, let me tell you a story. I remember as a kid, I was in grade school, and I didn't want to go to school. And so I told my mother I didn't feel well, and she called the school, and I watched her with this anticipation of a little kid and my eyes popping out of my head, not feeling sick in that moment. And as soon as she hung up the phone telling school, he's not coming into school today, he's not feeling well. And she hung up the phone. I was happy I wasn't going to school, but a part of me still makes me feel like crap. There are times when I was a kid that I had her call in and cancel things. And you know what? I cannot remember what was canceled, but I remember how I felt less. I still remember that feeling that I didn't show up. I could have shown up, but I didn't want to show up. I didn't want to show up because I thought I would be embarrassed being there with a bunch of people I didn't know. I didn't show up because I wasn't proud of myself. I didn't show up because I was insecure. I didn't show up for all the reasons that we create in our mind. And most of them is self-reflection, that we're not happy with ourselves. We don't want to feel awkward. But yet in feeling awkward is such a wonderful opportunity to ask yourself and to grow and say, hey, why am I feeling awkward now? Why do I have my hands in my pocket? Why am I thinking these thoughts? Those are those amazing moments where you do self-growing. But we avoid them and we don't show up. I heard something yesterday and it just triggered me. And it was so good. And this person said, your boss tells you to come to work every day at 8:30. And you come to work every day at 8:30. But when you have to do something, not that your boss tells you, but you have something that you want to do, you won't show up. Someone else tells you to show up, you'll show up. But if it's for the betterment of yourself, will you show up? Why? Why do we do these things? I still have that taste in my mouth from when I was a kid of when I didn't show up. Of when I had my parents make excuses for me. Why do you want to have a lingering memory that goes for years and years, decades and decades, that eats at you? Just show up. Woody Allen says, if we could quote Woody Allen of all people in the world, he says 90% of success comes from just showing up. And it's true. People don't show up. And when people show up, they don't even bring 100% of themselves. You know, when I do presentations and I walk onto that stage, I'm on. I'm there 100%. You have to show up. You're in front of tons of people. And after a while, the beauty of doing so many presentations is that you get addicted to that feeling of when I show up, it's fantastic. I love that feeling of showing up. But to get to that feeling of loving showing up, you have to show up. A lot. Often, consistently. And when you show up and you bring all of you. If you're unhappy the way your life is now, what did you not show up to? Did you not show up to your marriage? Did you? Were you 100% there all the time? Were you there for her? Were you there for him? Were you there when they needed you? Were you there in that moment that they need consoling? Were you there in that moment that they were lonely and all they needed was someone to sit beside them and maybe just to hold their hand? Were you there to just be the shoulder for them? You didn't show up. And if you don't show up that one time, it is scarring. It is life-changing. It is traumatic. Were you there for the people in your family? Did you show up for them? Did you show up in that important presentation at work? Did you show up 100% in school and give it your all? Did you show up for that sporting event? Did you show up for that music recital? Did you show up for yourself? See the framing, see the perspective. Can you be honest and can you be realistic that you give 100% of yourself every time you walk into a room? Let me be even more direct. Every time you wake up in the morning and you put that first foot on the floor, are you showing up for your life? Think about that. Are you showing up for your life, or are you just getting out of bed to get out of bed? Oh, here's another day. Oh, I need a coffee. Would you want to be with a person who has that attitude? Would you want to hire a person who has that attitude to start off their day? Would you want to be with or married or involved with someone who has that attitude that begins their day? For the last years of your life, have you shown up for you? Do you realize that maybe you're the reason why you're holding yourself back? Try waking up and showing up for yourself. And then for the rest of the day, it gets addictive. As I said, it's addictive. The addiction of showing up consecutively, the addiction of feeling so on, the addiction of being your best self all the time. You can't stop. And you just start showing up at stuff. Maybe a little late, which I'm guilty of every once in a while, but I show up. And damn, do I make up for it. The other night, had a dinner at a friend's house. Not feeling well, but I showed up. And none of us wanted to go home. It's not about how you feel. It's not about how you feel physically or how you feel mentally, how you feel emotionally. The beauty of life and the magic happens by showing up. It doesn't happen alone, because that's the opposite of not showing up. It's loneliness. And loneliness leads to too many thoughts. And it leads to some form of depression. And you could avoid the depression. You could avoid the too many thoughts. You could avoid the loneliness just by showing up. Never miss another appointment for you. Look at every appointment you have going forward from this moment on as a gift to yourself, as an opportunity to meet new, wonderful people, to grow your inner self, to grow your outer self, to prove to yourself that you aren't all those things you think about yourself when you're insecure. And God, do we all have insecure thoughts about ourselves? Prove to yourself that you are that amazing person. All you have to do is show up to that next meeting, to that next event. You have to show up when you put that first foot down in the morning when you wake up. Be excited about the situation and the life you have. You're breathing, damn it. You're able to get up from your bed, damn it. Do not take anything for granted, especially today. With all the chaos we have in the world, the smallest things that you think are small are huge, are dreams for other people. Don't disappoint them. Don't disappoint yourself. Go forth and spread beauty and light. And you do that by showing up with enthusiasm. You don't have to show up with a smile. If it's not in your nature to smile, it is absolutely fine. But you show up with your energy, with your focus. okay, what's this going to be about? Okay, I got this presentation. I'm going to nail it. Okay, I have this sporting event. I'm going to run as fast as possible. I'm going to kick the ball as fast as possible. I'm going to dunk the ball as fast as possible. Whatever. I'm going to throw the ball as fast as possible. You're a dancer. You're a musician. You perform beyond your own expectations. And then afterwards, you sit back and go, wow. Man, did I show up. And you just redefine who you are, and what you're capable of achieving. All that by you simply showing up for your life. That's all you gotta do. I'm Thomas Singlero. You want to know more, want to hear more, subscribe to the podcast, visit my website. I would love to talk to you more in the future. Take care of yourself. Show up for yourself. Show up for the people. We want to know who you are. Until next time. Thank you for listening to that episode. If you want to contact me, you can contact me on my website at inglero.com, and you can also subscribe to the newsletter, or you can find me anywhere on social media with Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you so much, and I hope to hear from you very soon.